Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new video. Today in this video I'm going to be going through my entire Funko collection. So it could be a pretty long video. So I last made a video on my Funko collection November 24th, 2022. I don't remember the exact number of Funkos in my collection at that time, but based on the thumbnail for that video, it was at least 115. Now it's a little over 350. So it's more than doubled since the last time I made that video. So this one's gonna be pretty long. That video was about 8 minutes. Obviously this video will be a little longer than that. So without further ado, I guess let's get into the collection. Well, first things first, I figured I would start with the comic covers. So these are all right above my desk. But first you got this Wolverine, this Symbiote Spider-Man, which I actually do have this cover on a t-shirt, so that's kind of cool. This other Symbiote Spider-Man, oh, sorry about the glare. There we go. This Venom one, which does have a scratch on it. Long story about that scratch. Then there's Doctor Strange, Black Panther, Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Scarlet Witch, Vision, and Miles Morales. So that's all the comic covers I have. You know, they're all hanging above my desk. There's room for another layer if I want to get some more. I'm not into comic covers as much as I used to be, so I probably won't get that many more, but they're still cool to display. Next up is this No Way Home Build-A-Scene that I had displayed on one of my taller Funko shelves. There you got Green Goblin, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, Electro, Sandman, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, Lizard, and Dr. Octopus. And you know, you just buy those pieces separately and then put them together, and you've got this scene where they're fighting on the Statue of Liberty. It looks pretty cool. Definitely glad I got all the pieces for it. It's definitely a cool display item. Then I also have this 6-inch Ant-Man, I think, which is the one from Civil War. Then a 10-inch Godzilla. He's still in his box. I've thought about taking him out of the box because I have done that before, but I honestly don't really know where I would store his box, so I just keep him in it for now. Then you got Chewbacca coming out of the ATST, sorry, just like in, you know, Return of the Jedi. Then you got a 6-inch Thanos from Guardians of the Galaxy, and then a 10-inch Batman. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, these are just the guys I have displayed on top of the shelves. Okay, next up, displaying, or I guess looking at some of the individual figures on this shelf. It does go about 3 layers deep, this shelf, and this shelf does as well. So there's a lot of figures on this one shelf, even more than you can see. So this could take a while, but oh, before we do, I should mention it is somewhat organized. So here you've got, you know, just Marvel guys on the shelf. This shelf's a little more randomized. Just kind of like people who couldn't fill up a whole category and so couldn't get a whole shelf, so they're here. Then you got Spider-Man and Marvel. I think the front is all Spider-Man, but behind it is Marvel stuff as well, just generic Marvel stuff. Then down here you got Star Wars. And then this shelf down here, you've got DC, some randoms who couldn't fit anywhere. And I think Lord of the Rings is behind this one too. So this shelf, the front is mainly DC, but the layers behind it are a little more randomized. So first things first, you got Thor 2019 Spring Convention. Then you got Star-Lord 2018 Halloween Comic Fest, PX Previews exclusive. Then you got Ghost Rider LA Comic Con Then Doctor Doom, another convention exclusive. Captain America First Avenger, this is one of my more valuable ones, and I would put him in a hard case, but I don't have any extras. This is from the first Avengers movie. Then you got T'Chaka. This one I just thought looked really cool. It's not really super valuable, but I really like it, so I put it in the front. Then you got the Star-Lord Chase, which I think is way better than the original because he's actually wearing his helmet. So that's cool. In the row behind that, you start with Hawkeye, who's also an exclusive. Arachnite, which is like Spider-Man combined with Moon Knight. Rocket holding Groot, who's in a little pot there. You can see his little face. Doctor Strange, who is metallic, GameStop exclusive. Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Electro, all from No Way Home. So I kind of grouped these three villains together since they're kind of the main ones of that movie. In the row behind that, you have classic Wolverine in his yellow and blue costume. Peter B. Parker from Across the Spider-Verse. Thor from Infinity War. Wong with the cool portal around him. You can kind of see it in the box. Venomized Iron Man. Gwen Stacy from the collector box. And Ned. So that was all the Funkos in this top shelf. Going down to this next shelf, you've got Prince John from Robin Hood. He's also a pretty valuable Funko. That's why he's in a hard case. He's definitely one of my favorites. Then you have Caesar from Planet of the Apes. He's also a pretty valuable Funko, but like I said, I don't have a lot of hard cases. So he's just in one of those, you know, kind of plastic ones that isn't as durable. Then you have the Funko of me that I made at Funko Hollywood when I went last summer. Got, you know, my dogs there, you know, got a lightsaber and a video game controller, so that's pretty nice. And then I have this one, also of me, that I made when Funko put the Pop Yourself online, just to kind of see what it was like. I made one. I do kind of like my hair better on this one, it's a little darker, but, you know, I give myself a Funko figure and a comic instead of, you know, a lightsaber and controller. Once again, I have both my dogs. And they're both pretty cool, but I'll probably always prefer the, you know, Funko Hollywood version, since that was super fun. I guess one day I can talk about my time in Funko Hollywood, because I wasn't making videos at that point. Then we have the Dachshund Wiener dog. This is the kind of breed that my old dog was, and it looks a lot like him, so that's why I have that one. Leonidas Chase from 300. Pretty cool one. I don't have a lot of chases, so this is pretty cool. And there is like this pink around the border you might notice. That's just from the clear protector it has. Like the box isn't damaged or anything like that. And then you have John Wick with dog. You know, John Wick's a pretty cool character. And I like that he has a little dog with him too. So that's this front, you know, front row for this second shelf. This definitely has some of my favorite figures on it, such as Prince John and Caesar, as well as the Dachshund. All of these are all pretty good. This is a pretty good shelf. Going to the next layer of the second shelf, this is where you have a few of my Robin Hood figures. You got Robin Hood, the newer version of Prince John, and Little John. You know, Robin Hood is one of my favorite Disney movies. I watched it a lot growing up with my grandparents. So that's kind of why I have these. I think I have the whole collection that my parents got for me. So that's pretty cool. Then you got Heat Ray, Godzilla. This is one of my first Funkos. Back when Godzilla vs. Kong came out, that's kind of when I really got serious into collecting Funkos. Because I thought these were so cool. So it's a Battle Ready Kong there too. But I don't think I got him till later. Heat Ray Godzilla was one of the first though. Then Predator, this is kind of, you know, I think I actually made a video when I got this one. It was one of my first Funko hunt videos. Maximus from Gladiator, this is, you know, the iconic scene. Are You Not Entertained? So this is definitely a cool one too. Overall, these are all pretty cool, but as you can see, it's a little more random here. You know, you got characters from way different movies, and you know, some from kids movies, some from, you know, not really kids movies. So like I said, these Funkos couldn't really hold their own shelf, so that's why they're kind of in the miscellaneous shelf. In this next shelf, you've got the rest of the Robin Hood guys: Friar Tuck, Maid Marian, and Sheriff of Nottingham. You got this Bullseye and Mickey ears. This one's really cool because it's for Disney's 100th anniversary. Then you have Al from Die Hard. This is pretty fun. If I had the rest of the Die Hard characters, I would probably put them, you know, somewhere like a more prominent display. But since I just have him, he's kind of just stuck to be at the back. Indiana Jones. Then you got Michael Jordan. Even though I don't really watch basketball that much, I just always thought Michael Jordan was, you know, amazing. And he's just honestly a legendary player, so I have his Funko. Okay, next shelf actually has, you know, 2 sets on top of each other. So this one's gonna take a little longer than those last 2 shelves. But this whole front area is basically all Spider-Man. So you got Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and below him you got Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. Then you got Tom Holland Spider-Man from the End of No Way Home. A while back I made a video of my favorite Funkos, and this guy was on it. And while I don't think he would be on it today, just because I've gotten a lot more Funkos since then, he's still one of my favorite Funkos. I love the detail. I love, you know, the suit in the movie. It's just such an awesome scene when he, you know, puts the suit on for the first time. So it's definitely still one of my favorites, but probably wouldn't make a top 10 list if I were to do that video today. Then next up, this is actually the newest to my collection. This is Miles Morales from Into the Spider-Verse. This is also one of my more expensive Funkos. That's why he's in this hard case. But this is kind of the scene where he first makes, you know, his black and red suit. And, you know, jumps off the building, and it's just a really cool scene. It's honestly a really cool outfit. I wish he wore this more, like with the hoodie and the Jordans and everything. But, you know, unfortunately he doesn't, but it's still a really cool Funko. Then you got Blacklight Spider-Man. So this is a Target exclusive. This is also a pretty expensive Funko, and it was one of the first, like, you know, expensive Funkos that I ever got. It's pretty cool. I think I might have a Blacklight somewhere that I can show him off in. Give me 1 second. Here's what he looks like under the backlight. He looks definitely pretty cool. I'm trying to get it to the glare. You can still see the figure. But yeah, he's definitely a really cool figure. And I wish I could display him out of box, just because the blacklight ones obviously look cooler. They're not in the box, and honestly the camera really doesn't capture it that well. But that is definitely a cool figure. Next up is Spider-Man, Captain Universe. I honestly don't know much about the comic where this one comes from, but it was a gift to me, and I think it looks pretty cool. I kind of like, you know, this energy he has around his hands and stuff. It's pretty cool looking. And it's just another Spider-Man. One thing I wanted to do with this shelf is kind of have a little more variants of Spider-Man and less of the classic red and blue. I mean, obviously, there's a lot on here, but, you know, a guy like this gives it a little more variety. Next up is Spider-Man Future Foundations. I think I actually did a video when I got this one. I'm not 100% sure. Next up is Spider-Man 2099. He's a convention exclusive. Yeah, this is a super cool looking one. You can't really tell in the box, but if you look right, you know, right there, you can kind of see his cape behind him that's kind of made out of webs, or has like a web pattern. So that's pretty cool. Overall, pretty cool looking figure. Next up, you got Spider-Man Noir from Into the Spider-Verse. My favorite thing about this figure is that he actually has his hat, because there is a version of this figure where he doesn't have his hat and he's just kind of standing there. In my opinion, doesn't look as good, and this is honestly a really cool looking suit for Spider-Man. And you have Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse. Now, there is some controversy about this one because some people say it's not Peter B. Parker, the Spider-Man that's primarily in the movie. And, you know, I feel like you can interpret it either way. But regardless of that, it's still like a really cool looking version of Spider-Man in his classic outfit. And I honestly think both Peter Parker and Peter B. Parker are both really cool versions of Spider-Man, so it really doesn't matter that much to me. Next up, you got Spider-Man from Spider-Man Homecoming with his web wings. I really liked, you know, the web wing design on this figure. I thought it was super cool looking. Also a collector core. I got this one for this Christmas, or I guess this Christmas that just passed. So that's a really cool one. Then you got Spider-Man from Far From Home. And I think this is another cool version of the sort of Stark suit that Tom Holland wears in primarily Homecoming and Civil War. You know, he's kind of on his phone, you know. It's a pretty cool looking Spider-Man pop. And then you got Miles Morales from the Gamerverse in his classic suit, which is my personal favorite. I have him right above Peter Parker from the Spider-Man PS4 game. So I've got, you know, Spider-Man PS4 and then Spider-Man Miles Morales. And because I like both of these versions of the characters, I think it's really fun to have both of them displayed up here. This is also one of my favorite Funkos. I think it was on that top 10 video made a while ago. I'm not sure if it still would be, just because, like I said, my Funko collection has more than doubled since that video, so I have a lot more Funkos that are in contention for that top 10 list. But he's still a really cool one nonetheless. Okay, so looking at the second layer on the shelf, you've got Spider-Man in his upgraded suit from No Way Home, so this one's pretty cool. Then you have Spider-Man with his integrated suit. Next up is Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. This is the Walmart metallic version. Next up is Magneto from X-Men 97. And so I primarily like this version of Magneto because he kind of has the classic, you know, classic Magneto outfit. I got the classic Magneto outfit. And honestly, I haven't finished X-Men 97 yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. So, you know, eventually I'll get around to finishing it, and I'm sure I'll like this figure even more. And then from the collector box, you got Jean Grey, as well as Rogue. Next, you got Bullseye in a Spider-Man suit. This one is one of my favorites. Or a Spider-Man shirt. This one is one of my favorites. It's honestly really funny. I think Bullseye is such a cute mascot for Target, and his little Spider-Man shirt is super funny looking. Then down here, you have Annihilus. He is a Walgreens exclusive. Okay, sorry about that, my phone died. But anyway, so Annihilus, Fantastic Four villain, Walgreens exclusive. Then you got Spider-Man from the 90s animated series. He's pretty cool. He's definitely a classic looking Spider-Man, so he works either as, you know, representation of that show or just as a good Spider-Man figure. Then you got J. Jonah Jameson, Entertainment Earth exclusive. He's got a newspaper. It says Spider-Man Threat or Menace. Then you got this almost crystallized Spider-Man. He's a Funko exclusive to celebrate Disney's 100 years. Then you got the Spot, who's a glow-in-the-dark version. I think he's Blacklight too. I'm not sure. He's a Target exclusive, and he also came with a t-shirt. Then you got Thor from Thor Ragnarok. He also glows in the dark, and he's a convention exclusive. Okay, then in the final layer on this shelf, you've got Venom from Venom Let There Be Carnage. This one has a lot of cool detail. You also got Zemo from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Then you've got Scarlet Witch from Multiverse of Madness. And Spider-Man in his homemade suit from Spider-Man Homecoming. It's a really cool looking figure. Then you got Captain America from Infinity War. Ghost Panther, I think, is a really cool design for a figure, you know. Sort of the flaming panther skull is really cool looking. Then you've got Iron Hammer, who does glow in the dark. He's a combination of Iron Man and Thor, Target exclusive. And then Toxin, who's a pretty cool looking figure, even though I really don't know a lot about the character, to be honest. Then you've got Captain America, Blacklight, Sam Wilson, Target exclusive. Below him, you've got Spider-Man from the collector box, who's blue and has a little rose. It was the Valentine's Day box, I think. Then you've got Death Dealer, who is a GameStop exclusive. A really cool looking villain, even though we really didn't see a lot of Death Dealer and Shang-Chi. And then Gore the God Butcher, who has a cool design. He's a cool character in the comics, but Thor Love and Thunder kind of wasted him and was a pretty terrible movie in my opinion. Then finally, you've got Miles Morales and his tracksuit, you know, a pretty cool looking suit and a pretty cool looking figure with the web kind of tangled behind him. And then below him you have Kang. I'm a pretty big fan of Kang, so I picked this figure up, but similar to Gore, he was pretty wasted in that movie, and the movie itself was pretty terrible. Okay, now for the fourth shelf on here. This is the Star Wars shelf. We've got General Grievous, which is like the kind of like the original Funko they released. The newer Hot Topic General Grievous. Jango Fett, this is one of my rare ones. Commander Cody, another rare one. These are both Walgreens exclusives. 501st Jet Trooper, regular Phase 1 501st Trooper, 13th Battalion Trooper, 332nd Company Trooper, so these are the ones that have like Ahsoka's pattern on their helmets. Darth Vader with his mask cut open like in Kenobi. Darth Vader, he's kind of chrome. This is a Smuggler's Bounty exclusive. Stormtrooper with a silver base. Grand Admiral Thrawn, who is a Target exclusive. Incinerator Trooper from The Mandalorian. And then Remnant Stormtrooper, also from The Mandalorian. Okay, so now for the next layer behind that one, you've got Boss, who is a Clone Trooper Commando. Fixer, another Clone Trooper Commando. I'm honestly not really familiar with the game they're from. I just think, you know, Clone Commandos look really cool. Then Moff Gideon, Target exclusive, and his Darksaber does glow. E3PO, who's chrome, pretty cool looking. Imperial Guard, who's a Walmart exclusive. Emperor Palpatine, who's a Hot Topic exclusive. The Blue Senate Guard, this is one of my favorites. This is a really cool one. Imperial Rocket Trooper. Darth Vader from Kenobi, he's got his lightsaber right there. R2-D2 and R5-D4 2-pack. So this is from Episode 4, New Hope. This is the droid, then its like head explodes. And so Uncle Owen and Luke get R2-D2 instead. And then Luke Skywalker from Endor. This is honestly a really cool one. I really like his outfit here. And his green lightsaber as well. Okay, now for the next layer behind that one. We got Proxy from Force Unleashed. He glows in the dark. Dark Trooper from Mandalorian. Boba Fett from The Mandalorian. Darth Maul from Season 7 of Clone Wars. Grand Inquisitor from Kenobi. Purge Trooper from Kenobi. Obi-Wan twice from Kenobi. This one has a lightsaber. This one doesn't. Ahsoka Tano from the Ahsoka show. Death Watch Trooper, also from The Mandalorian. This is a GameStop exclusive. Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett. Target exclusive Boba Fett. Has a bit of more of a comic book look to him. Black Chrysanthemum from the Book of Boba Fett. This one is flocked, so he's kind of a little fuzzy. And he's a convention exclusive, limited edition. But then Target exclusive Stormtrooper, who's also kind of comic booky. But yeah, that's the end of this shelf. So this was the Star Wars shelf. Okay, so that was the Star Wars shelf. And now we're moving down to the DC / Lord of the Rings / you know, some more miscellaneous ones that can really fit elsewhere. So, first off, obviously this one is not DC, but there wasn't any room for him on the Star Wars shelf. We've got the Shadow Stormtrooper. I believe this one is from Force Unleashed as well, just like Proxy. Cole Obsidian, a member of Thanos' Black Order. He is a Walgreens exclusive. Martian Manhunter, so an actual DC character. He is a Walmart exclusive. Wait, I think I already said he's a Walmart exclusive. I don't remember. Okay. Anyway. So this is from the Justice League Unlimited cartoon show, which I watched a lot as a kid. Red Hood. Aquaman. This is a 2022 Fall Convention Limited Edition. This is honestly a really cool Aquaman, I think. Superman. I believe this one is kind of like an anniversary one or something like that, but here he is flying. I think that's a super cool look for Superman. Dr. Fate, I actually made a video when I got this one. He is a convention limited edition figure. Two-Face, this is also a really cool one. This is from Batman the Animated Series. Mr. Freeze from Batman the Animated Series. He is from the DC Legion of Collectors. He's also one of the very valuable Funkos in my collection. Darkseid, he's a Funko.com exclusive, sort of a classic DC villain, and he's actually pretty heavy for just like a singular figure. Batman from Arkham Asylum. So this was a Hot Topic exclusive, and the reason it's exclusive is because this one, his suit is blue instead of black, which I thought was honestly a little cooler looking. Then Clayface, also from Batman the Animated Series. You know, Batman the Animated Series is one of my favorite shows. So these are all really cool figures. And then you got Robin, Hot Topic exclusive. This is a really cool looking Robin. And then Nightwing. This is one of my favorites. You know, this is a really cool Nightwing Funko. This is a 2020 Fall Convention limited edition. But yeah, he is one of my favorites. I think I made a video when I got him too. I'm not 100% sure though. So yeah, that is the first row of the DC / miscellaneous shelf. Okay, the second layer on this last, I guess, shelf on this shelving unit, we got Lord of the Rings and some miscellaneous items. So you got Legolas, the Nazgul, Gimli, I think is a really cool one. Frodo Baggins, Samwise, which glows in the dark. This little thing glows. Tom Brady. Tom Brady's one of my favorite NFL players. Myles Garrett, another one of my favorite NFL players. I am a Browns fan, so this is a really cool one. Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. This 2-pack with Batman and Joker. I think I made a video on this one. I'm not 100% sure. This Wall-E 2-pack, which is a Target exclusive. Wall-E is one of my favorite animated movies, so I'm really glad I ended up getting this one. Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, and then Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon 3, I think that is. Yeah, this is a really cool one. I also like How to Train Your Dragon, and so I figured I'd pick up a Toothless. But yeah, this one's a little more miscellaneous, but as you can see, there's a lot of Lord of the Rings here, so that's kind of why I was saying, you know, Lord of the Rings is mainly in this layer of the shelf, but maybe I didn't remember all these other guys that were here. Okay, and then in the final layer on this final shelf, we've got almost completely miscellaneous here. So we got Bill from Schoolhouse Rock. This is just a really funny song and video I would watch all the time as a joke. Gollum, Frodo, who's holding the ring, and like in Return of the King. Gollum, who is invisible. This is a Barnes & Noble's exclusive. I might have made a video on this one. I'm not completely sure. Michael Scott from The Office. He's got his mug. That's his world's best boss. That's a cool detail. Michael Myers from Halloween, one of my favorite horror villains. Shazam, glow-in-the-dark chase. I think this is my first ever chase. And it's kind of sucky that it was Shazam from Theory of the Gods, which I haven't even seen, but, you know, it's so cool that I got a chase. And then you got Batman from The Flash. I kind of like the figure, even though I'm not the biggest fan of Michael Keaton's Batman or the Flash movie. Then you got a couple dinosaurs here. These actually won at an arcade. I think it was Dave & Buster's. One of their prizes were these Funkos, so that's what I got. Then you got Pennywise with a balloon, another one of my favorite horror villains. Then the Riddler from the Batman. He's got his duct tape there, and it's kind of a cool figure from one of my favorite superhero movies. Then you got the Flash. I don't know why I left the little price on there. I'll have to take that off, but this is from actually the Flash TV show, I think, and even though I really didn't like that show, I still think the figure is really cool, so that's why I got it. Then you got Michael Myers behind the hedge. This is a cool one. This is one I got somewhat recently, actually probably several months ago now that I think about it, but it's still a super cool Funko, and this is obviously from the movie, the first Halloween movie. But yeah, I think with that'll do it for this entire shelf. There's still other shelves to go, like this one, but that's the end of this little brown shelf here. It's definitely my biggest Funko shelf, so that's probably the bulk of the collection. Okay, next up, we have this black shelf. The top here is just some Lego ships, but this one is a little less organized than the last one. So this, the front at least, is Spider-Man villains. I actually don't remember what's behind that. I know the front of this is primarily Daredevil, all right here. This is all Daredevil, and then just Hulk and Captain America are kind of random. And then the front here is almost completely random, except like this is like obviously Jedi. And then these guys are just newer ones that I've gotten, and I just put them there just because I didn't know where else to put them, and I didn't want to reorganize, you know, the entire shelves. So they're just there because those spots were open. But let's get into this first shelf. So like I said, we got a Spider-Man villains section. So Vulture, this is the 80 Years of Marvel Vulture, so it's kind of like his classic look. Same with Electro, this is 80 Years of Marvel. You know, I really like the classic looks for the villains, so I really like these 80-year anniversary Funkos. Then you got Mysterio, he's also in his classic outfit. He does glow in the dark. He's an Entertainment Earth limited edition exclusive. Then you got Kraven the Hunter, who's a Walgreens exclusive, also in his classic outfit. Sandman, another Walgreens exclusive, also in his classic comic book look. These are obviously, they kind of came out around the same time, both at Walgreens. Then you have Rhino from the Collector Corps. This is one of my favorite ones I got for this past Christmas. It's a really cool one. You know, Rhino is a cool looking classic Spider-Man villain. And it sucked that he was a Collector Corps figure. It was kind of the only way you could get him. But, you know, eventually I did, and I'm so thankful for that. Then the Lizard, another Walgreens exclusive. This is like more what he looks like in his first appearance, which is kind of why his kind of got this stubby little snout instead of like the longer mouth that he usually does in most comics and TV shows, or cartoons, I should say. This is Green Goblin. Actually, it's from Spider-Man No Way Home, but he's obviously wearing the suit mainly from the Raimi movies. It's a box lunch exclusive. Even though this one doesn't really fit in the theme of the rest, which are all kind of in their comic book outfits, I still really like this figure, and I kind of wanted him more towards the front. And I figured he could still fit here because he's still a Spider-Man villain technically, and Green Goblin is obviously one of the most popular Spider-Man villains. So I don't really mind him being here, but one day maybe I'll get a classic Green Goblin that I'll put up here in the front. Then you have Carnage. This is one I got pretty recently, but he actually came out in 2018. This one is super cool. You can see his tendrils here. Can't really see, but I think he's got like some more in his other hand there. This one's a little dusty. My bad. Then you got Venom, another Collector Corps exclusive. This one is super cool. So he's kind of leaping in the air. He's kind of got his tongue and everything. It's a super cool looking Venom. You know, just kind of a classic look for the character, which is what I like about a lot of these, is kind of their classic looks. It doesn't do anything crazy or anything like that, except for this one. But for the rest, it's kind of has that iconic Spider-Man villain appearance, which is why I really like this shelf a lot. Okay, so in this next layer of the shelf, we have some more Marvel Funkos. So you've got Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, aka Tobey Maguire Spider-Man without a mask, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man without a mask, and then Tom Holland Spider-Man without a mask. I try to group these three together just because they all kind of go together, because they're all the No Way Home Spider-Man actors, all without their masks on. Then next to that, I also have PS4 Spider-Man, who also is not wearing his mask. This is honestly a really cool looking Funko. But yeah, these are all, obviously there's a theme here with, you know, Spider-Man not wearing their masks. And then you jump over to Electro. He's glow-in-the-dark. He came in the same Collector Corps box as this Spider-Man. He's honestly one of my favorite looking Funkos, you know, because he's got like the yellow and blue electricity. And, you know, he glows actually pretty well. I might make a video on all my glow-in-the-dark Funkos, and so maybe you can actually see how well he glows. Next up, you have Iron Spider from Endgame. If you look closely, you can see he does have the Infinity Gauntlet, or the Stark Infinity Gauntlet in his hand, just like in that scene from Endgame. Speaking of Endgame, you've got, two more Endgame moments. You have Iron Man, who's about to snap his fingers and save the universe, basically, or at least save Earth. Then you have Captain America, who is wielding Thor's hammer. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can kind of see it there. You kind of see the lightning at his feet. Then his shield is also broken. So yeah, there's kind of a theme here too. Obviously, it's Avengers Endgame. Some of the coolest parts from that movie. And then you have Winter Soldier. This is when he holds Captain America's shield. Then you have Loki with Scepter. He glows in the dark. He's an Entertainment Earth exclusive. But yeah, here's that layer. It's all Marvel. A lot of Spider-Man, and this one's a little more organized for the most part, even if there's still some randomness. Okay, so for the final layer of this shelf, it is almost completely random at this point. You got Hobgoblin from the Spider-Man animated series, Nick Fury in his classic comic book look from the 80th anniversary. This is a 2019 Fall Convention limited edition figure. Then you have this Blue Beetle and Booster Gold 2-pack. Booster Gold is honestly a really funny character I remember from an episode in Justice League Unlimited. And so I kind of liked this 2-pack a little bit. I thought it was fun. Then you got Superman from Justice League. He's wearing his, red and blue, which I think is honestly a better look than the red and black suit, even though I definitely prefer Zack Snyder's Justice League over the 2017 one. Then you have Colossus, who is a chrome figure. I'm pretty sure I made a video when I got this guy, so if you've been watching the channel, you've seen him before. But he's honestly a really cool Colossus. Then you have Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man again. This is a Hot Topic exclusive, which is metallic. So you can see the blue is kind of shiny. It's kind of a cool look. Kind of an unnecessary exclusive, if I'm being honest. But, I really do like this version of Spider-Man, so it's a cool figure nonetheless. Then you have a couple Fantastic Four guys. So you have Mr. Fantastic, and then Silver Surfer, who looks really cool on his board there. And then right above them, you have Gandalf the White, who is an Earth Day exclusive from Box Lunch, and his, scepter does glow in the dark. Or staff, I think is a better word. So that's really cool. But yeah, this layer of the shelf is basically completely random, but there's still a lot of cool figures on here. Okay, so for the next level of the shelf, you've got, mostly Daredevil on the front, but also a few random ones. So, first off, you got Hulk from Thor Ragnarok. This is honestly a really cool, look for Hulk, kind of inspired by his gladiator look from the comics. Then you got Matt Murdock. This is from a certain comic where he has a sweater that says, "I'm not Daredevil," it's kind of funny joke. So, obviously, Matt Murdock is Daredevil. Then you got King Daredevil. Then you got Daredevil from Shadowland. Then Matt Murdock from Spider-Man No Way Home. This is when he catches the brick that is thrown through the window. This is honestly a pretty cool figure. Then you got Daredevil from She-Hulk. Even though I didn't even watch She-Hulk, I watched the parts with Daredevil in it, and I honestly think this is a really cool suit, referencing his original yellow and red suit. Then you have Kingpin. So Kingpin, technically he's a Spider-Man villain since he first appeared in a Spider-Man comic, but I honestly know him more as a Daredevil villain, and he's honestly one of my favorite villains, so this is honestly a really cool one. This is also an 80 Years of Marvel figure. Then you got Daredevil. This is a PX Previews exclusive. I think I made a video when I got this guy, and I think he was actually in my top 10 favorite Funkos video back in the day. Then you got Daredevil from the show. This is from season 2 of the show, I believe. I really do like his suit here, and I really do like that Daredevil show. This is a really cool Funko. And then you've got Captain America from the first Avengers movie. I forgot to mention, but these two are two of the most valuable Funkos in my collection. You know, this Funko is pretty old, from like 2012. You know, from whenever that first Avengers movie came out. And then this one is from the show, you know, which came out the season that this one is from came out a while ago. So these two are both pretty valuable. And overall, this is definitely one of my favorite shelves because I do like Daredevil a lot. Okay, for the next layer of this level of the shelf, you've got a couple more members of Thanos' Black Order. So you've got Corvus Glaive, Ebony Maw. These two are both pretty cool. And the only one I'm missing is Proxima Midnight. Maybe when I get her, I'll kind of display these guys somewhere else with one of the Thanoses I have. But until then, they're just kind of back here chilling. Then you got Logan from the X-Men movies. Then you've got the ARC Trooper. It's honestly a really cool looking clone. You know, I really do like clone troopers a lot. Then you got Superman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. So he is wearing the black and silver suit. I do think it looks pretty cool, but like I said, I'll always prefer the red and blue. Then you've got Odin. I think this is from Thor, The Dark World. Even though it's a pretty bad movie, I do think Odin is kind of cool, and this is a cool figure for him. Then you've got Punisher from Daredevil Season 2. You know, Punisher is super cool in that season. He's a cool character overall. Then you got Captain America, Sam Wilson from Falcon in the Winter Soldier. So this is a really cool one. I really do like his suit in this show because it's very comic book accurate. And I really do like how the white pops against the dark blue. So it's a really cool looking figure. Then you got Black Manta from Aquaman 2. Then you've got Red Hulk, a Hot Topic exclusive. I do think he should have been a little bigger, more like, you know, Cole Obsidian, or even someone like Kingpin in a way. You know, he's a little tiny to be Red Hulk, or maybe kind of like the size of Gladiator Hulk. Still a single figure, not like a 6-inch or anything, but just kind of like a bigger single one. Regardless, he's still a cool Funko Pop. And yeah, that is the second layer of this level of the black shelf. Okay, then in the final layer of this level, of the second level of this shelf, you've got some more figures. This one is also pretty random, but it looks like it's mostly Marvel. So here you got Christmas Wolverine. This is honestly a really fun figure. I'll probably display more at the front when Christmas comes around. Hercules, who's a Walmart exclusive. Hercules is pretty cool. Then you got He Who Remains from Loki. Obviously, this figure is a little weird since the actor actually ended up getting fired. So we don't know if we'll ever see this character or any of his multiverse variants ever again. But still, I liked him in the show. And he's still a pretty cool figure, regardless of everything that happened. Then you got Falcon from Civil War. This is a Hot Topic exclusive. Then you got Cyclops from X-Men 97. This one has actually gone up in value since people really liked Cyclops in the show, you know, and I think this is a cool one. I'm just glad to kind of have an updated classic Cyclops. Then you got Bruce Wayne as Batman from The Batman. He's kind of got his mask off, and you can see like he has like the, I guess, eyeshadow around his eyes, which is what all Batman actors have done in the past, except this movie was kind of the first to acknowledge it in the actual movie. So this is honestly a really cool looking figure in my opinion. Then you got him with his mask on. He's in a fighting stance. So these two go together pretty well. And I really do like this suit from the Batman movie. It's honestly really cool looking. Then you got Christmas Spider-Man. Like I said with Christmas Daredevil, or Christmas Wolverine, sorry. When Christmas comes around, these guys are probably going to be more towards the front. Then you got Luke Skywalker from The Mandalorian. You know, he does glow in the dark. He's got his lightsaber there. Then you got Darkseid from Zack Snyder's Justice League. So, yeah, there we go. That is the last layer of the second level of this shelf. And now for the last level on this shelf. Like I said, this shelf, or this level, is probably the least organized of all of them. Because, you know, this is kind of just where I started putting new guys because I didn't fill it up all the way. So it's basically completely random. But to start off, you got Wolverine from Deadpool 3. So honestly, I really do like this suit. in live action. I think the face looks a little silly, I think. Like, the beard is kind of off-putting. But overall, I still really do like the suit, and I like how it translated into Funko form. Then you've got Deadpool, who's also from Deadpool 3. This is honestly a really cool looking Deadpool. You know, he's got his swords. I like the texture on his suit, which matches that we've seen in the movie. So I think this is a really cool Deadpool. Then below that, you got Peter Parker in his symbiote suit from Spider-Man 2 on the PS5. Alright, continuing, you've got Plo Koon. It's honestly a really cool Funko. Plo Koon is honestly a really cool Jedi. He's kind of been underutilized in most Star Wars media. Next up, you got Kit Fisto. He's a Walgreens exclusive. You know, just another Jedi who I think is pretty cool looking. Then down below, you got Anakin from the Clone Wars. It's honestly one of Anakin's coolest outfits, and I really do like the Clone Wars a lot. So I'm really glad that I have this figure. Then you have Anakin from Attack of the Clones. And even though I think Attack of the Clones is absolute poodoo, let's say, this is honestly a really cool figure, you know, just to see Anakin have 2 lightsabers, and overall it's a nice looking figure, so I still got it. Then you got Mace Windu. Mace Windu is a pretty cool Jedi. He's got that nice purple lightsaber, and he kind of completes like this overall Jedi thing that I'm doing. Then you got Ayla Secura. She's kind of the same thing. I'm not really the biggest fan of her, but she kind of looks cool. She's also a Smuggler's Bounty exclusive. And, you know, she kind of adds to the sort of Jedi collection I have going. That I do plan on continuing. Kind of want to make like a pseudo Jedi Council from just all the Jedi that Funko has made. So I think that's a kind of fun idea. Next up, you got Spider-Man from the 80 Years of Marvel. This one isn't actually new, not a new figure that I've gotten. I've had him for a while, but I just moved him over here because I put Miles Morales in his place up here because like I said, I just got this one the other day. So that's why he's over here now. I'm sure I'll find another spot for him back on the main Spidey shelf, but until I reorganize all that, he'll just stay here for now. Then you got Wolverine. This is the newest, one of the new Wolverine Funkos. I'm really glad we got this because I'd always wanted a Wolverine Funko that's kind of in this awesome yellow and blue suit, but also doesn't have the generic Funko pose like the yellow and blue Wolverine you saw earlier on my shelf. Then down below you have Iron Man from Avengers Assemble. All the Avengers Assemble ones that I have are on this shelf. You can kind of see them behind here. The only one I don't have is Hawkeye. And if I ever get Hawkeye, then I'll probably take them out of box and display them somewhere, like I did with the No Way Home Build-A-Scene up there, something like that. But until then, they're down here. Let's look at the next layer of this shelf real quick. Okay, for the next layer of this level of the shelf, you've got, like I said, those Avengers Assembles, the rest of those that I have. So you got Captain America. This is honestly one of my favorite ones. Honestly, I really do like the colors on the suit, even though I don't think it looks very good in the movie. Then you got Hulk. This is honestly a really cool version of Hulk, back before they ruined Hulk by making him like a smart nerd or whatever the heck they did in Endgame. Then you got Black Widow. You know, she's not the coolest one here, but she does have the Avengers base plate, as you can kind of see in the back, so she's pretty important for this set. Then you have Thor. Once again, even though I don't think the suit looks that great in the movies, I really do like how Funko used the colors to make it pop a little more and overall just look cooler. Then here, this is mostly random, but you actually have some pretty cool figures here. So you've got this baby Ewok from Return of the Jedi. I honestly think this one is just super cute looking. He's flocked, so he kind of looks a little fuzzy. So I think that's really fun. Then you've got Thor from Endgame. He's got both his hammer and Stormbreaker. Then you got Han Solo here. I think this is from A New Hope, I'm pretty sure. Then you got Ronan, who is, you know, actually Hawkeye. It's a Walmart exclusive. Then you have Logan. This is from X-Men Origins Wolverine, and even though that movie is complete garbage, I think we can all agree the best part is seeing Logan kind of throughout the years, you know, fighting in different wars, and this is part of that. This is towards the end of his time in the Vietnam War, whenever him and Sabretooth get arrested, I believe. Then you have Juggernaut. This is honestly a really cool Funko. He's pretty big for a single Funko. I think this is what they should have done with the Red Hulk, as I was saying earlier. He's a Walmart exclusive, and honestly, this is just a really fun Funko. I really do like the Funkos that are in their classic comic book outfits. So this is a really cool one. But yeah, that's all the Funkos for this layer of the shelf. Okay, then the last layer of the shelf is actually just these two rows. You've already seen these, obviously, as well as these. I just moved these out of the way just so I could record these real quick. So you've got Weapon X, who's a Target exclusive. This is a really cool Funko. This is when Wolverine, they put the adamantium into him and they were experimenting on him. So this honestly is super cool. Then you got Iron Man from Infinity War. Then you have Jedi Knight Revan and Darth Revan. These are both pretty cool. This was a GameStop exclusive. I don't know where this was an exclusive from. I just have the special edition. But even though I'm not the biggest fan of the Old Republic, I do think Revan is pretty cool. Next up, you got General Grievous from Battlefront 2. This is like the new Battlefront 2, where he's, you know, battle damaged a little bit. Then you have Human Torch, who is a Hot Topic exclusive. I like this one because it's not just Human Torch in his regular Fantastic Four suit, but it's also not him completely on fire, because I don't really think that looks very good in Funko form. It's kind of the best of both worlds. You got him, you know, with lots of fire on him, but he also doesn't have like that weird head where I just don't think it looks very good in Funko form, in my opinion. Some people may disagree with me, but that's just what I think. So that's why I got this one. And with that, that is the end of this shelf. That was a lot faster than this last one, and we are definitely nearing the end of the collection. Okay, the next shelf in my room is this other black shelf. It's exactly the same type of shelf as the one we just looked at, except this one has more big Funkos on it as opposed to singles. So let's start at the top of the shelf. You got Michael Myers with the Myers house. This is a pretty cool one. It's a Spirit Halloween exclusive. Like I said earlier, Michael Myers is one of my favorite horror villains. So this is a pretty cool one in my collection. Then you got Washington crossing the Delaware. I honestly just really like how this Funko looks, with the American flag there and Washington at the front. It's a really cool looking one. Then you got Bullseye, a jumbo Bullseye. So like I said, I really do like Bullseye as a mascot. This is a Target exclusive. It's honestly just a really fun one to have in my collection. Moving down to this next level of the shelf. At the front, you've got Boba gets his bounty. So you got Boba Fett with Han Solo and Carbonite. This is a Smuggler's Bounty exclusive. This is a movie moment from Empire Strikes Back. Then you got this little tiny Captain America from Age of Ultron that came with a t-shirt. So that's pretty cool. It's, you know, this might not be where it stays forever, but I just put it there because there's a good spot right there. Then you have Darth Vader versus Luke Skywalker. Sorry about the glare. It's kind of tough to see the Funko. But this is from Return of the Jedi, obviously, where Luke has a final showdown against Darth Vader. There's actually only 2 Funkos in the layer behind those movie moments, which is the 7-Eleven exclusive glow-in-the-dark Sour Patch Kid, which is pretty cool. Sour Patch Kids are one of my favorite candies. And then Tom Brady on the Buccaneers. Like I said, Tom Brady, one of my favorite NFL players, so this was definitely a no-brainer for my collection. So on the next level of the shelf, you've got some more movie moments. So you've got Thor versus Thanos. This is from Infinity War. Really cool scene in the movie, and this is a really cool looking Funko. Then you have Captain America versus Thanos, also from Infinity War. This is where Thanos is trying to get to Vision, and Cap is doing all he can to hold him back. This is also a really cool looking one. It is a Hot Topic exclusive, and these are honestly both really cool. 2 of my favorite movie moments. Plus, I think they go pretty well next to each other. And Infinity War is also one of my favorite movies. So these are definitely 2 of my favorite movie moments in my collection. So in the layer Behind those two movie moments, you've actually got some Star Wars figures. So you've got Cad Bane from Book of Boba Fett, who looks pretty cool. Then you got the Mandalorian after his battle with the Mudhorn. This is a pretty cool one. Then you have the Boba Fett prototype Funko, Walgreens exclusive. It's honestly a pretty cool one. Then you have the Purge Trooper, who is a Summer Convention limited edition Funko. So I do have two Purge Troopers, but honestly I really do like the design for the Purge Troopers, so I really don't mind that much. Then you have Darth Vader from Rogue One, where he's got his hands on his belt. You know, it's a pretty cool Darth Vader Funko, and it's pretty unique. So yeah, that's it for the second level of this shelf, and let's move on to the third. Okay, so now for the third level on this shelf, you have some more big Funkos, a few movie moments, and then a couple deluxe. So to start over here, you've got the Flash and Aquaman from the Jim Lee DC Deluxe Collection. These are honestly super cool. I think they do some for about every member of the Justice League, which I do plan to get those eventually, but for now I just have these two. And honestly, I really do like this Flash one. You can kind of see him running on the ground with the lightning and the dust behind him. That's really cool. And then this Aquaman is actually pretty cool as well, because you have this big wave crashing behind him. Then he's killing a parademon right here. So these are both two of my favorite DC Funkos. Next up, you've got the Red Skull versus Captain America. So this is from the 10 years of the MCU. This is obviously from the first Avenger, but this is where they're fighting over the Tesseract. So you got Captain America in his suit from the first Captain America movie, which honestly is one of my favorites, if not my absolute favorite. Then you've got Red Skull, who's got one of those special Hydra guns that is powered by the Tesseract. This is honestly one of my favorite movie moments. All the movie moments are pretty cool, but this one I like a lot. It's because I really like how the two figures look that are inside the movie moment. And then below that, you've got Hulkbuster versus the Hulk. This is from Age of Ultron. And even though that movie is kind of disappointing in some aspects, this was a really cool part of the movie. And I think it's a movie moment that came out looking pretty well. You know, Hulk looks cool, Hulkbuster looks cool, and this is also one of my favorites. I know I've been saying that about basically all the movie moments, but they're honestly all really cool. Then to the left of that one, you've got the Rancor with Luke Skywalker and this slave over here. Yeah, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Ula, I guess. But anyway, so the Rancor, this was the main reason I got this one, because they really don't make, you know, Rancors as Funkos really that often. I think there's only like two, and so this is a really cool Funko from a really iconic part in Return of the Jedi. Behind those movie moments, you have some single Funkos. So you got Heimdall from Thor Ragnarok, Namor from Wakanda Forever, Venomized Hulk. Yeah, I don't usually like the Venomized ones, but this one is really cool looking. Venom with some wings, Doc Ock from the Spider-Man 90s animated series, Spider-Man in his Oscorp suit, Burning Godzilla, which is a glow-in-the-dark Funko, Green Goblin, who's a Walgreens exclusive. Now, the reason I don't have this on display with the rest of the Spider-Man villains, because this one is pretty beat up. I got it back when I really didn't care about the boxes, and so I might end up getting a replacement of this one, but for now it's back here. Then you got Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and then Spider-Man 2099 with his costume from the Spider-Man PS4 game. But that will do it for the second level of the shelving unit. So on the last level of the second black shelf, we've got some more bigger Funkos, some comic moments and movie moments, as well as some singles behind those. So starting off on this first layer, you've got Eddie Brock, who is a Blacklight Target exclusive. Then you've got Jabba the Hutt. This is from the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. Then you got Sand Trooper and Dewback. I really like how the Dewback looks. It's honestly one of my favorite Funkos. Then you have Batman and Robin kind of on this rooftop area. Then above that you have Red Hood versus Deathstroke. This is a pretty cool one. These characters are both really cool looking, and it's kind of a cool action moment. Then above that you have Batman and Commissioner Gordon from the end of Batman Begins, where Commissioner Gordon has a Joker card, and this actually does light up, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, this is a pretty cool section of Funkos. Mostly comic and movie moments, but there are some singles behind them. Okay, so in the layer behind that, you got mostly singular Funkos, and it looks like it's mostly Marvel and DC. So first up, you got Moon Knight from the Moon Knight TV show. Then you got Infinity Ultron from What If. Then you have Moon Knight again from the TV show, except this one glows in the dark and is from the Collector Core. Then you got Ant-Man from Quantumania, which is kind of not my favorite Funko in my collection just because I really didn't like the movie. And I'm not a biggest fan of everything they do with the suit either. Then you've got above that Black Adam from the Black Adam movie. Then Star-Lord, the original Star-Lord from Guardians of the Galaxy. This one definitely looks a little outdated, but it's still kind of charming in a way. Then you've got this glow-in-the-dark Aquaman, which I think is a pretty cool color scheme, but it does look a little weird for Aquaman at least. Then below him, you've got Spider-Man with the Bug Eyes armor. This is kind of a unique looking one, but it doesn't really scream Spider-Man to me, if I'm being honest. Then below that, you've got Kevin from She-Hulk. Now, I haven't even seen She-Hulk. This came in the Collector Core box. And, you know, it's kind of whatever. Not the coolest Funko, I'm not gonna lie. Then next to him, you've got Ben Affleck Batman from The Flash. Then above him, you've got Hush, who is a convention limited edition figure. Pretty cool Batman villain. Then above him, you've got Robert Pattinson Batman from the Batman movie, except this is kind of when he's shooting out these cables or grappling hook or whatever you want to call it. Then you've got this Batman, which is Batman the Joker is Wild, apparently. This is kind of a weird one. This was a gift to me. It's an Entertainment Earth exclusive, and I really don't know what comic it's from, but it's definitely pretty unique. You can at least say that about it. Then below that, you've got Batman from Batman, I think the 1989 movie. He's kind of holding a batarang there. It's a pretty iconic looking Batman suit, and even though I don't like Michael Keaton as Batman that much, it is still a very cool Funko. And then finally, below that, you have Batman from Batman the Animated Series. Now, the only reason that this one is back here and not with the other DC Funkos is because he's kind of damaged, and I'll probably get a replacement for him just like I plan to do with the Green Goblin. But yeah, that does it. That's every level and all the Funkos on this second black shelf. This is a pretty cool shelf. This is primarily where I have some of my bigger movie moments and stuff like that. However, we're not quite done with the collection yet. Next up, you actually have one more shelf that is in my closet. Not because these figures are lame or anything, but just because this is the only spot where I could fit this shelf. So at the top, you have this, I think, 10-inch Sentinel with a tiny Wolverine. This is honestly a really cool Funko. Then down below, you got the Scout Trooper on the speeder bike, a Smuggler's Bounty exclusive. This is honestly one of my favorite, like, bigger vehicle Funkos. Because I really like how biker scouts look, and it's just kind of an iconic moment from Return of the Jedi. Then over here, you've got Darth Vader from, like, the Sith or Red Saber series. He's kind of on Mustafar. This one does glow in the dark. Then below that, you've got two more from the Red Saber series, Darth Sidious and Darth Maul. So those are pretty cool as well. Going down a level, you have Thanos standing on a bunch of skulls, and he's kind of got some metallic detailing on his armor. This is honestly a really cool Funko as he's about to snap his fingers. And then over here you've got Nightcrawler with kind of his, I guess, smoke from when he teleports and a little sound effect there. That's a little silly. This one also glows in the dark. And then on the level below it, you've got Green Lantern and Batman. This is another one from that Jim Lee collection I was talking about with those Justice League figures earlier. This is a GameStop exclusive. Then you kind of got Batman down here with Green Lantern kind of flashing his light. It's from a comic book, which is shown in the back of the box. Let me show you that real quick. So here's the actual comic moment that it's trying to replicate. I think it's pretty cool that they put that back on the back of the box just so you understand what is going on in this Funko. And this is tape here that I just haven't taken off. It's not like damaged or anything, just so you know. Yeah, this is a pretty cool one. I do like these bigger comic moments and movie moment ones. Then the level below that, you've got Count Dooku versus Anakin Skywalker, and Pong Krell versus Captain Rex. These are both really cool. I'm a huge fan of the Clone Wars. So obviously this is from throughout the show, and then this is from the Umbara arc, which is probably one of the best arcs in Clone Wars. And then it's super cool to have Phase 2 Captain Rex as well, since the only other version of him is pretty expensive. So these are two really cool 2-packs in my opinion. And then the final level below that, you've got another comic moment. I think this is from The Long Halloween. This is sort of, you got Batman over here, and then Catwoman wrapped up in Poison Ivy's like vines. And then over here you have Thanos sitting on the throne. This is for the 10 years of Marvel Studios. This is honestly a pretty cool Funko as well. I'm a huge fan of Thanos in the Marvel movies. But yeah, that's the entire one of this shelf. There's no secondary layers or anything, so it was definitely a little easier to film. But yeah, these are mostly big ones as well, and I think they're all pretty cool. Okay, then on this wall next to that shelf, you got a few more of the big movie moments and stuff like that. So first off, you got the No Way Home 8-pack. This is honestly pretty cool. It's the only way that you can get a singular version of Sandman and the Lizard, apart from like the Build-A-Scene. I just mean the lone figure. So that's pretty cool. It is a Walmart exclusive, but I think the rest of these guys are all duplicates that you can get elsewhere. But it's still a really cool 8-pack, and one of the more expensive Funko items that I have. Behind the 8-pack, you've got some more big scene, movie moment type Funkos. So here you've got Batman with the Hall of Justice. I guess this is like from the comic books or Super Friends or whatever you want to say. Then over here you've got Dagobah Face Off. So this is when Luke goes into the cave area on Dagobah and fights Darth Vader, and when the helmet opens, it's actually him in there. So that's a pretty cool Funko, and obviously iconic moment. And then down here, you've got Scar with the hyenas. I don't have a lot of Disney Funkos, but Lion King is a pretty cool movie, and this is honestly just a really fun Funko in my opinion. And I actually got this one at Funko Hollywood, fun fact, so that's pretty cool. And then over here, you've got Gandalf. I don't know how to say that, so I'm just gonna say on this eagle thing. This is obviously, super cool moment from the Lord of the Rings movies. I think it's definitely a fun Funko to have. You can kind of see the bird's wings and feathers there. That's really nice detailing. And then below that, you got another Lord of the Rings one. You got the Witch King on Fell Beast. Honestly, the Witch King's design is super cool, as is that of the Fell Beast. And so this is honestly a really cool looking Funko, and it's kind of cool to see, Gandalf on this heroic looking eagle, and then the Witch King on this almost dragon looking thing. So these are both two cool Funkos that I think go together pretty well. And then over here you've got Obi-Wan and his Jedi Starfighter. So this one is pretty cool. It's like the Hyperspace Heroes on Amazon. Obi-Wan is one of my favorite Jedi, and I really do like the design for the Jedi Starfighters. And like I said, I'm a big fan of the Clone Wars, so this is a really cool Funko, I think. And yeah, that's all the Funkos that are over here in this section of my closet. One more Funko over here is actually this jumbo blue Velociraptor from Jurassic World. I just bought this one out of box for like $5. And it's a pretty cool Funko. It's a little weird that it's a Velociraptor that's so big. It would make more sense if it was a T-Rex. But it's still pretty fun, and like I said, I got it super cheap, so it's kind of a cool Funko just to put on this little cubby here. Okay, one final thing to add is that I do have a bunch of out-of-box Funkos that I include in my collection. So these are ones that I got pretty early in my Funko collecting career, and I unfortunately got rid of the box. So I don't really know where to put them, so they're just kind of in here. But you got Thanos, Bruce Wayne, Nick Chubb is kind of an L that I don't have his box, since he's probably one of my favorite NFL players, if not my absolute favorite. Then you got Spider-Man with the headphones, Doctor Doom, Batman from BVS, the Mandalorian, Grogu, the Mandalorian flying, holding Grogu. This is a cool one, since I don't have his box. This Lockjaw and Black Bolt 2-pack also sucks I don't have that box. Baker Mayfield from when he was on the Browns. Used to be one of my favorite players, but don't really like him as much anymore now that he's not on our team. Galactus, Chewbacca. This was actually my first ever Funko that I got. Jim Brown, you know, another iconic Cleveland Browns player. Vulture, Mysterio, and then Loki from Thor Ragnarok. This is honestly a cool looking Funko. And this one I bought out of box. I never had his box to begin with. So these are all my out of box ones. I'm not sure where I should put them yet, so that's why they're in this box. But I'm sure at some point I'll start replacing their boxes, or for some of the cheaper ones, just buying new ones with a box. That way I can kind of display them with the rest of my Funkos. Okay, what I believe is the last couple of Funkos in my collection. I do have Robert Pattinson and his Batmobile, which I do have behind my TV here. It's kind of a cool Funko. I do have this one's box, but this one I just display out of box because I think it's kind of a lot more fun to have it out this way. And then I do have Tom Brady, kind of NFL card. Like I said, I really do like Tom Brady as a player. I just haven't gotten a chance to hang this up yet, but eventually I will. And with that, that is the end of today's video. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, please leave a like if you did enjoy the video. And leave a comment down below and tell me what you thought of my Funko collection. This video did take a little longer to make than I thought it would. So sorry if it's coming out a little bit later than you were hoping for. But still, thank you so much for watching, guys. And I hope you have a good day or a good night whenever you're watching this. And, see ya.